Hi everybody, my name is Allison. I'm the Programs, Outreach, and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me today for another book chat video. Today I am going to be chatting with you about In 5 Years by Rebecca Serle, maybe is how you pronounce the last name. This book came out in March 2020, so March of this year. It had a massive holds list when it first came out. I ended up just getting my hands on it fairly recently as the holds list was dying down at the library, and I saw it all over the internet, all over social media with lots of good reviews, so I was very interested to get my hands on it. It is, let me double check, 251 pages, so it was a pretty quick read, and I'll start by telling you what it's about. So this book is about a young woman named Dani, who is the type of person who has a plan for everything. She has her 5-year plan, her 10-year plan. Her life follows a pretty set schedule, and she is achieving all those goals. And one night, on the day that she gets a dream job, she has a great interview, she knows she's going to get the job, her boyfriend proposes to her, everything is going according to her plan. That evening, she drifts off to sleep and wakes up in another apartment 5 years in the future with another man and an engagement ring on her finger. And she's only in this alternate reality for a little while before she wakes up back in her apartment 5 years prior, back to her reality. But the effect that this has on her really changes her life and the way that she looks at her life, because she just can't shake this vision that she had. So she continues about her life, and the book jumps forward 5 years, and she has, still gone about the rest of her life, but still can't shake this vision that she's had. It's lingering in the back of her mind. In the meantime, she still hasn't actually gotten married. Her and her fiance remain engaged, so 5 years of engagement. And one night she goes to meet her best friend Bella for dinner so that she can meet Bella's new boyfriend, and it is the man from her vision. And so that kind of brings everything back to the forefront of her mind and really starts making her question things in her life, where things are going with her fiance, and spurs kind of the main action of the book. As was said at the top of this video, there will be some spoilers. I'm going to save those till the end so that I can give kind of a review of the book, and then I'll let you know when to hit stop and stop this video if you don't want to hear any of the spoilers. So overall, I thought this book was okay. I'd probably give it about 3 out of 5 stars. I was engaged and I read it pretty quick and to the end, but it definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So without diving into a lot of spoilers, I will say that if you're looking for kind of a fun rom-com, maybe like Sleepless in Seattle type reminiscent novel, this isn't going to be it. As a slight spoiler, but more trigger warning, because I wasn't expecting this, cancer becomes a really big player in the main action of this book. And I wasn't really expecting that, and I can see where if you were thinking that it was going to be more lighthearted, rom-com-y, then that could really throw you off. And, reading about cancer in the depth that the book gets into can be really hard for a lot of people, so that is a big warning. If you're not, if that's not something that you want to invest your reading time in, then I would skip this novel. I felt like some of the plot dragged a little bit, and some of it was unnecessary. I was reading over the Goodreads reviews, and I agreed with a lot of them that the author went into a lot of depth about some pretty strange topics that didn't really add to the plot. So restaurants, or, some of the corporations that Dani is dealing with in her profession as a corporate lawyer. There was just a lot of detail on some of those things that wasn't really necessary to drive the plot along. And I think that for me, the story would have been bettered if the author had invested more time in developing some of the character relationships. The ending also felt a tiny bit rushed to me, and it was interesting to see the twist that it took, but it just it almost felt like a cheat to me of what could have been a more fulfilled and better ending. So with that said, if you don't want spoilers, please stop the video now and go check out the book. If you're okay with spoilers, continue watching. So the spoiler is that Danny's friend Bella ends up getting diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. And a big portion of the book is taken up with Danny's care of Bella during this time and her journey and battle with ovarian cancer, which she ultimately does lose, and she passes away at the end of the book. And it's really moving. I was very moved by this portrait of friendship and this intimate look at cancer. And as I said before, it wasn't something that I was expecting, so it really took me off guard, and it made me quite emotional reading that. But that wasn't really what I was looking for with this book, so I felt a little betrayed almost by the premise of the book and then what was delivered upon. And in the end, Danny's vision with this man, his name is Aaron, ends up being fulfilled, but instead of Danny being engaged to Aaron and having him be her life partner, it ends up that they have this fling of, they come together kind of in grief to have this one night stand together after Bella's funeral, and the engagement ring that Danny is wearing is Bella's ring, and she ends up giving it back to Aaron, and then they part ways, and Danny is now ready, having broken up with her fiance previously before the funeral. She's ready to start this new life. So it's kind of like a coming of age in your 30s book, because she really shakes off all prior conceptions that she had for what her life was going to be like. And in that sense, it was good, and I liked that about it. But if you're evaluating the book for delivering on the promise in the summary and the front flap, then I would say this didn't really get there for me. So I liked what the book did, but it wasn't what I was looking for when I started reading the book. So I kind of closed it off with some mixed emotions about how I felt about it overall, which is why I feel like a 3-star out of 5-star rating is good. Really, middle of the road. It's good, not great. Could be changed a little bit to make it greater. So I hope that you check it out if you're interested, even with the spoilers. I do think that it was worth reading. I just think that it's worth reading with more knowledge of what you're getting yourself into. If you have any recommendations for us of great books that you have read recently, please let us know in the comments, and I will see you next time. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.